Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving deep into the future of wireless, and it all comes from some incredible work in a PhD thesis that tackles a problem we are all feeling, the data crunch. Let's get right into it.
So we all love our fast connections, right? But the thing is, there's a limit. And the really big question that researchers are grappling with is this. As our world gets more and more connected and we get hungrier for data, what's next? What's the real next leap forward?
And this is why that question is so urgent. Just look at this curve. Global data traffic is absolutely exploding. I mean, think about it. Video streaming alone already eats up over 80% of all internet traffic. We're basically running out of lanes on our current data highway, and it's getting crowded.
So we just need more bandwidth. We need more lanes. And the solution, as this research points out, lies in a whole new frontier, the terahertz frequency band. It's this huge, basically untapped part of the electromagnetic spectrum that promises data rates way, way beyond anything we can imagine today. For decades, this whole area was called the terahertz gap, and for a simple reason, we just didn't have the right tools to use it. We couldn't generate the signals efficiently, and we couldn't detect them properly. You can think of it like a massive empty continent on the map of frequencies, just sitting there waiting for someone to figure out how to explore it.
So how do you actually bridge that gap? Well, there are basically two main approaches. The electronics way tries to push the tech we have now to higher and higher frequencies. But the photonics approach, which is what this research is all about, does the opposite. It uses light-based tech to come down from even higher frequencies. And honestly, this is a total game changer because it gives you enormous bandwidth and, crucially, it integrates really nicely with the fiber optic networks we already have.
And, this isn't just about abstract technology and cold hard science. Behind all this complex work, there's a person. I love this quote from the researcher Kathir Villanelapont. It's a great reminder that science is really driven by human passion, in this case the pursuit of a scientific dream. So let's see what that dream actually built.
Okay, so the first huge win from this work was demonstrating something incredibly practical and demanding. They streamed uncompressed 4K video completely wirelessly using a terahertz link. And when I say uncompressed, I mean no shortcuts, just the pure raw fire hose of data sent right through the air.
So how they pull it off? The process is actually pretty elegant. You take the massive data stream coming straight out of a 4K camera, you encode it onto a terahertz wave, you beam that wave across the lab, and then on the other side, a receiver decodes it back into a perfect, flawless video on a monitor. No lag, no dropped frames, nothing. Now to make that happen, the system had to be insanely fast. We're talking a data rate of up to 6 gigabits per second. Just to put that into perspective for you, that is fast enough to download a full-length, high-def movie in just a handful of seconds. That's the kind of speed that makes streaming raw 4K video even possible.
Okay, so that's an amazing achievement, but it immediately brings up a huge question for any real-world wireless system. See, terahertz waves are super directional, almost like a laser pointer. So what happens when you don't have a perfect, clear line of sight? What happens when something's in the way?
And that, right there, leads us to the second major breakthrough. The answer isn't to give up on wireless, but to add something to it, a special kind of THZ fiber optic cable. The idea here isn't to replace the entire internet backbone, but to make those short-range terahertz links much more robust and reliable. Using a fiber like this gives you some massive advantages. It can snake around corners and obstacles, it can get a signal into really hard-to-reach spots, and, this is a big one, because the signal is physically trapped inside the fiber, it makes the link incredibly secure. Nobody can listen in. It's all about adding that layer of reliability.
And this isn't just theory. They proved it works. The team demonstrated an error-free signal running at 4 gigabits per second, transmitted over a 10-meter-long, specially designed polypropylene fiber. Now, 10 meters might not sound like a lot, but it's the perfect distance for connecting devices inside a room, or maybe deep inside a complex machine like a server rack.
So the really crucial takeaway here is that these two things, free space wireless and THC fiber, they're not competitors. They're partners. Think of it like this. The wireless free space link is for the long straightaways where you've got a clear shot. But for those tricky, short-range connections around corners or in places you need high security, the THZ fiber is the absolute perfect tool for the job.
Okay, so the technology is there. It works. But what does a future powered by terahertz actually look like for you and me? Let's talk about some of the wild applications this research could unlock.
Picture this. You're walking through an airport, heading to your gate. You pass by what looks like a normal sign, a data kiosk, and in the few seconds it takes to walk past it, your phone has downloaded an entire 4K movie for your flight. No logging in, no waiting, just an instant, massive data transfer as you walk by.
And this goes so far beyond just entertainment. Think about transportation. Cars, drones, even satellites could be constantly talking to each other, sharing gigantic amounts of sensor data in real time. This could completely revolutionize traffic flow and make autonomous vehicles dramatically safer and smarter.
And here's an application you might not think of, but it could change the very heart of the internet. In data centers, you could replace kilometers of those bulky, rigid copper cables with flexible, high-speed wireless THZ links. This would make them way more energy efficient, easier to cool, and so much simpler to upgrade and reconfigure.
So, all of this leaves us with a pretty powerful final thought. What this research really shows us is a future where our data isn't just sent through wires buried in the ground, but is seamlessly woven through the air all around us, and then guided by these flexible fibers for the final connection. It's a future that's faster, more reliable, and just more connected.